So guys, we are starting on our group projects now, which we'll be working on throughout the rest of the semester. And so we've got 2 weeks to do this review of literature, but I just kind of wanted to go over things with you and let you guys kind of see what I'm looking for and give you some tips on finding these articles that you're looking for. So you've looked up articles before. You might think this is not going to be a big deal, but this is where it gets really important to find the right kind of articles and good quality articles. So we're going to start off with, this is just the grading rubric, and this is part of what you'll turn into, or this is what you'll turn into me. And I wanted to go over this so you'd be sure that you filled it out correctly. So what you'll do, be sure at the top to put the names of everyone in your group. Whoever is the group leader will put their name as number 1. I know some of you only have groups of 3. So if you just have a group of 3, there'll just be 3 names there. And then I want you to put in the PICO question that your group chose to do their research project on. So just type that in. And then you're going to have to find 4 citations. And what you submit to me in the review of literature as you do your critical appraisal and your synthesis of the information, it might actually change. You may end up finding out that that's not really a strong article. I want to make sure at first that you have the right kind of articles, that at least it's a randomized control trial, even if maybe the research wasn't good and it's not strong. You may have to go back and find another. But this part, we want to make sure that you have the right kind of articles. So you're going to have a systematic review or a meta-analysis, and this comes from the Cochrane reviews. And awesome news, I know you guys will be so excited, but our library just bought all of the Cochrane system. So you will have access to that, and I will show you what path you need to take to access those articles. So it's really great. They have, Cochrane has systematic reviews and meta-analysis and controlled trials. And so it'll be a lot easier to find that information than it has been in the past. We just got it this week, so I'm really excited. So when you find a systematic review or a meta-analysis that you want to use, it has to address your PICO question. So if you're doing something on hand hygiene, it needs to be specific to the question you're asking. So like I said, this process may be going back and revising your PICO question if you just can't find anything. Or it may mean looking for other articles or searching kind of a different way. So I just want to throw that out there. It's kind of a back and forth process. So whenever you find the article that you want to use, you'll put the reference here, and you can use this paper. It's just a Word document. Put it in APA, and then either attach the article, or if you do the permalink, you can put the permalink in here. And that way I can just click on it and go out to look at the article that you found. And then this is how it's graded. You get 25 points if it's a systematic review or meta-analysis that relates to your question, and you get 25 points if it's cited correctly in APA. Remember, and I'll show you again, where you can click on that citation and it pulls it up for you. Now, also remember that they're not always 100% correct. You may have to go modify it a little bit, but it's there and it'll have most of it, and you can just go in and tweak it. So you need a systematic review. You need a randomized control trial. You need a cohort or case-controlled study. And then you need clinical practice guidelines. And so if you look at the 4 that we're asking for your presentation, you can see that this is all kind of that higher level of research on your levels of evidence table. And that's what we want for you to make your clinical recommendations. So now that we've kind of gone over this, you'll do that same thing. Oh, and just remember, I'm going to show you this, but for your clinical practice guidelines, you're going to go to guidelines.gov to search for those. It won't be in the library site. So just a reminder. So now let's go to the library site, and I'm just going to remind you guys how to get there. Hopefully you're familiar enough now to do it, but we've got our nurses on the main page. So this is the ECU homepage. You're going to click on Library. And then you're going to go to Library Research Guides. You're going to click on Nursing, and you're going to go to Nursing Research. And then, this is that LibGuide that kind of explains a lot of different things. It it talks about your group project here in a little more detail, or you can find that just on Blackboard. But what we want to focus on is going to the search tab. Now, I think in the past, a lot of times we've just searched in CINAHL, and I've had you search there. But to access these Cochrane reviews, we're going to have to use this EBSCO Discovery Service for Nursing. Eventually, I think they're planning on putting a tab up that has just the Cochrane review on it. You can just search for those. But the EBSCO Discovery Services, it has CINAHL and Cochrane both, so it's kind of an overall. I'm just going to pick the generic hand hygiene. Now, when you, like I said, when you are searching for yours, if you're looking for something specific, then you can put in more details. But I'm going to do hand hygiene. And we'll wait for it to pop up. Now, I'm already logged in. If you haven't logged in, when you click on that, it'll prompt you to log in. So you just use your normal ECU login to get into the library. So if you remember, the first thing that we want to do is change our dates. We want current articles. So the last 5 years or so is usually a good indication. You can also choose full text, but I want to show you this interlibrary loan because it works really quickly and they can email it to you. Say I want to choose this article, dressing change equals hand hygiene times 3. I can request this item through interlibrary loan. You just fill out your name and this information that all you have to put in is the information that has the star by it. And then the date needed, I usually put like the next day, and usually they have it within 24 hours or so. So you just fill this out and they will send it to your ECU email, a link to this article or the actual like scanned article. So like I said, it's really easy to use, so I encourage you to use that if you find an article that's we don't already have full text. So let's go back to my results. Okay, so we're looking at these things, and this is a CINAHL nursing guide. So I'm really not sure what this is. It's not necessarily an article like I'm looking for. So say I want to look for just a systematic review. And I can also change this to OR and type in meta-analysis. So I'm looking for hand hygiene and systematic review or meta-analysis. So let's see what that comes up with. Need some music to play while it's searching. Okay, wow, we have a bunch. Looks like 156,323. So you would definitely want to, you can click these buttons here and add rows. So you can do, hand hygiene and whatever you want to look at. But you can just look through here. Now make sure, even though you've typed in systematic review or meta-analysis, make sure that's what it is. And a lot of times, like I said, it will say it in the title. But any of these that would work for your PICO question you could use. All right, so say we found our systematic review. Now we want to do a randomized control trial. So again, the easiest way for me, especially at this point with you guys, to find these things is just to type it in. So we're waiting. So here are a pragmatic randomized control trial of 6-step versus 3-step hand hygiene technique in acute hospital care in the United Kingdom. Here's hand hygiene intervention to reduce infections in child daycares, a randomized control trial. So here again, we have 208 articles here that are randomized control trials that you might use for hand hygiene. So like I said, I would definitely be narrowing that down some. And then the third type that you're going to look for here on the library side is a cohort or case control study. So we'll type that in and see what it comes up with. So again, 157,000. So, like I said, when you're looking, you're probably going to want to narrow this down and be very specific about what you're looking for. I'm just trying to show you how to use it, so I'm not going to get too narrow. But here's one about hand hygiene instruction decreases illness-related absenteeism in elementary school, a prospective cohort study. Here's a case study of national hand hygiene campaigns, a cohort study, a retrospective cohort study. So, you know, most of these would work for what you're wanting to do with your cohort or case control study. So that's just a super easy way to search those things. Now, let me show you the guidelines. Let's see, move my page over here. Okay, so this is guidelines.gov. Type it in, you come up to this. And I'm going to type in hand hygiene and search. Okay, so there looks like there's 58 results for hand hygiene in the Guideline Clearinghouse. If you want to narrow those down, you can narrow them down by the inclusion criteria, US-based, or addresses multiple conditions. You will want to narrow down your publication dates to be the most recent, and there's still 56. If you're looking at children, like, you know, there was a couple about child daycare or schools, so you can actually click on and look at only guidelines that address children. You can look at the clinical specialty if you're talking about something only in cardiology, and it tells you how many articles are under that area. Organizations, the different types. I mean, there's just a lot of different ways to narrow these down. So use those to find what you're looking for. And like I said, you've got to find one of these clinical guidelines to go along with the other 3 articles that you're going to find for this review of literature. So like I said, once you've found all of those, I'll go back and show you. You need to read through them, make sure they're quality, make sure they address your question, and then put the reference and the attachment with the either the article as an attachment or the permalink. And let me remind you how to do that permalink while we're there. Okay, so we'll choose this one for the elementary schools. So the permalink is right over here, the little chain. You click that and it pops up this link. So you just copy it and you can paste it right into that document, and it takes me right to this article. The other thing that I told you I would show you and I almost forgot is if you click on Cite here, it pulls up all the different citations. Remember, you want APA. And this one looks pretty correct. Now, sometimes what I've noticed is in this area, this should be the volume and the issue and then the page numbers. And this could be correct for this one, I'm not sure, but sometimes this gets a little wonky. So you want to be sure you look at your actual article and make sure that that's all correct there. Because see here it has 1252. So it's probably volume 12, page 52 or something like that. So you're going to want to fix that area. And remember, just having this cited correctly is worth 25 points. So it's half of your grade on this project. So you want to make sure this is correct. And I'll remind you to go to the OWL at Purdue if you're not sure how to cite something, and look at those examples there. Anyway, I think that's about it. If you guys have any questions, remember we have 2 weeks to work on this, so I expect everyone to really take their time and find good quality articles and ask as many questions as you need to. And good luck on your group projects.